Hello, welcome to the Invest in Value channel. My name is Victor, and in this video, I'll be covering Airbnb. This is the leader in the vacation rental, short-term rental industry, which is an exploding segment of the travel industry. Before I jump into analyzing Airbnb, please do me a giant favor and like my video. Please consider subscribing to my channel and click that bell to receive notifications on when I release a new video. So let me tell you about Airbnb. So first, I have been an Airbnb partner property owner for more than 10 years. I bought 2 vacation rentals in an area by the name of Big Bear Lake here in California and put them on Airbnb 10 years ago. And the result was really positive. They really made plenty of cash. They made money. I got a lot of travelers, and Airbnb was clearly the leader in the space. We got 9 out of 10 reservations from Airbnb. The second place went to Vrbo, and then third place to Flipkey, and Booking.com maybe was in fourth place. But just the clear leader with regard to reservations was Airbnb. It has the mind share in a space that really didn't exist a whole lot online about 20 years ago. Airbnb has come in and really revolutionized the travel industry by really unlocking a lot of personally owned properties that are pretty neat to stay at. They also make trips affordable for families or groups or sports teams, even companies that want to travel to a particular conference. Instead of booking 10 hotel rooms, they can book maybe 1 or 2 large properties and have all their employees stay in that property. These guys have been growing really fast. And what's great to see is that they're profitable and they generate free cash flow. Those are the 2 things that I really look for. So Airbnb did their IPO a little over a year ago, and it came out and it shot up like a bottle rocket. And it didn't stay up there. It faded in the summer, and then it came back up toward the end of the year. I was not an initial stockholder. I wanted to see more. I wanted to get comfortable with their financials. So I gave them a few quarters, and then finally started buying, during the summer of 2021, really building a position. It's now, I would say, one of maybe top 10 positions in my portfolio, maybe top 15. And I continue to buy shares on dips, especially here in 2021 where it's dipped. I've really caught the stock on the right days, and overall making money on Airbnb and have a really good position as the company, as the stock goes up. Really over the last year, they are down 8%. Overall, since they IPO'd, they're up 16.7%. And then year to date, they are down 5.86%. They are a $104.51 billion market cap company. They don't have a PE yet. And their trading range has been from 129 to 212. They're trading somewhere in the middle of that range. Now let me take you through my intrinsic value model. And what this basically says is, what do I think the company's truly worth based on their free cash flows that they're going to generate into the future? And here's what I came up with. I used a discount rate of 8%. They've got a great balance sheet. This company has a phenomenal balance sheet. So I have no worries that they're going to be around. They've grown their free cash flow. They started generating free cash flow for the first time. So I gave them 100% since they were 0 or below 0 before. Now they have a lot of free cash flow. Revenue over the past year, they've grown 77%. It's a young company. So I think that's the best number I can get my hands on. Having seen those numbers, I'm going with a 40% growth rate. They are guiding for the first quarter to be in the 50 or so range. I'm using a 40% growth rate for the first 5 years. Long term, I'm putting 11% growth. Once they get larger, it's going to be harder to grow. And those are the growth rates that I'm using and the discount rate. Their free cash flow in 2021 was 2.164 billion. Just great cash flow for a young company that's growing so fast. So phenomenal, awesome. And I don't see why free cash flow would change. It's not like they have to, like Tesla, open up a new gigafactory and invest, $100 billion in a new factory. No, these guys are basically one of the great things about their business is the capital for all the homes that get rented. Those are all private owners that come to the Airbnb site, put their properties on the website, and get them rented. Airbnb doesn't have to build, maintain, operate, or any of the properties. It's all operated by the owners around the world. So it's a brilliant business model. Reminds me of like the YouTube model where, YouTube's not creating the content, they just host it, and then we create the content and people view it. And other models where it's a sharing economy. So I expect the free cash flow to be consistently growing into the future. If we take that cash flow based on the growth rate that I'm using, I value the company at 170 billion, 756 million. They currently have a market cap of 104.5 billion. So there is a discount available on Airbnb currently. They have 642 million shares outstanding. So their intrinsic value per share is $266 per share. Their stock is trading at $142. So I think the delta is $123 per share is the delta, the upside. And you can buy Airbnb at a discount of 86% currently. Now let me provide a summary on Airbnb. Their performance last year was excellent. They grew 77% in 1 year, just looking at year over year. Nights booked went up 56%. I wanted to point that out to show that their prices are going up. So the number of nights went up a healthy amount, but the revenue went up at a greater proportion, showing that pricing power exists for Airbnb. They're the number one vacation rental company out there, period, by a margin. They have a massive total addressable market. It's all these private homes that people can rent in big cities, small towns, out in the country, cabins, whatever it be, a flat in Paris or an apartment in Tokyo. Airbnb is global and growing very fast. 2022 guidance, what they did comment is that they really have bounced back from COVID well. And really, they're not seeing any issues with COVID as their guests are booking their reservations for this summer travel season. So that's great to see. So that will enable Airbnb to continue to grow in 2022. One thing they did put in their details was that Q1 2022 revenue will be between 1.41 billion and 1.48 billion, which is 59% growth. Again, my expectation is that they grow 40% or better. So it's good that they're guiding for the first quarter of 2022 to be almost 60% revenue growth. Their international business is just booming. They are established in the US, they're doing great in the US, but internationally is where, holy smokes, they cannot run that business fast enough. They are just booming internationally, which is awesome to see from a diversification perspective for the company. My outlook, I owned and operated 2 vacation rentals from 2012 to 2022. This space is growing fast. The vacation rentals that we had and operated, pretty much the revenue doubled from the time we started 2012 to 2022. The rents went up. The number of nights we booked went up. It's just a very highly demanded, type of experience that travelers want. They really like staying in a home. In many places, there's no alternative. Like our 2 cabins in the mountains, there's no big hotels in that mountain area. So our properties did really well on Airbnb. And big cities, I've traveled around the world with my family. I love staying at Airbnbs. It's just a different experience versus staying in a hotel that tends to have a different experience than staying in a home. that you are kind of integrated into a neighborhood of a big city. This is the dominant company in short-term rentals. There's second place is a big distance behind them. These guys are grabbing like big market share in this space, and they're not going to let it go. They have the best experience online on their website. It has a good feeling like an Apple hardware device, or the way Google is simply, laid out. That's how Airbnb is. Very easy to use. And they're, again, back to their total addressable market. These guys can continue to grow just very dynamically because the addressable market is global. There are properties that, in the past were not, rentable online to travelers, but now they are. These are remote places that people want to seek out for a different, place to travel to. Now they're rented on Airbnb. One of the stories that a personal friend told me about, soon after Cuba opened up to US citizens to travel, that person traveled to Cuba and stayed at an Airbnb, which was really cool. That quickly, people were able to travel to Cuba and stay in an Airbnb. So let's take a look at the scorecard for Airbnb. First, would you be getting a discount on this investment? And the answer is yes. Right now, you would be getting a very good discount on this stock. The company is greatly operated, performing awesome, just a really good momentum in this company. And last, would I buy this asset today? Absolutely. I continue to buy Airbnb. The volatility that I see in the market's actually an opportunity. When it dips, I buy. Just consistently, when it dips, I buy. It's harder to buy when a stock just consistently goes up because you're like, man, where do I buy if it keeps going up? But the current volatility is making it easy to continue to buy more shares of Airbnb. So just a quick reminder, my video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not recommending you buy or sell any stock or security. I own this stock and I like sharing my experience and my point of view on Airbnb. So thank you so much for watching my video. Please like the video, consider subscribing, and hit that bell to receive notifications when I release a new video. Thank you and good luck trading in 2022.